All right, deep divers, buckle up, because today we are going deep into some pretty wild territory.
We're diving headfirst into Donald Trump's marathon interview on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh yeah, 3 hours with the former president unfiltered and unleashed.
No holds barred. He covered everything from reality TV to the Oval Office.
And let me tell you, he did not shy away from those hot-button topics.
Not one bit. This thing went viral the second it dropped back in 2023.
The media went nuts. Everyone was talking about
You know, Rogan's podcast is famous for those deep dives, but getting a former president on there?
especially Trump.
I mean, come on, that's unheard of.
Everyone was glued to their screens for this one.
Trying to catch every single word.
And, it's not just what he said, but how he said it.
Right.
Trump's journey to the presidency is a story that's still captivating people to this day.
From real estate mogul to reality TV star?
And then, boom, the Oval Office.
Unbelievable.
They're like something out of a movie.
He actually talked about that in the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his early days in the public eye, all those appearances on Oprah and The View.
Can you imagine Trump on The View?
Oh, the fireworks.
I'd pay to see that.
He even claims he wanted to run for president way earlier.
No kidding.
But get this, he says he was persuaded to stick with NBC.
So he was already thinking about the presidency back then.
Oh yeah, it was brewing in his mind.
Fascinating. So what changed his mind?
This is where things get really interesting. He suggests this is when his distrust of the media started.
Uh-huh.
He felt like they were trying to control his narrative, you know?
Hold him back.
Exactly.
Wow, so that media skepticism we saw during his presidency,
It goes way back.
all the way back to those early days.
Deep roots.
This context is crucial if we want to understand Trump's whole approach to communication.
Absolutely. How he sees the media's role in shaping public opinion, everything.
He's always been fighting against that narrative.
Absolutely.
Speaking of narrative, Trump paints a vivid picture of his transition from builder to politician.
From New York skyscrapers to the Washington swamp.
What a shift.
He talks about feeling like a total outsider, even though he'd been a big-time donor to both parties.
So he saw the game from both sides.
Yeah, and it made him even more critical of the establishment later on.
Like he got disillusioned with the whole system.
Right, disillusioned.
Did he mention any specific challenges he faced in the Oval Office?
Oh, yeah. He gets surprisingly candid about it.
Really?
He admits his biggest mistake was picking certain advisors.
Interesting. He doesn't name names, though, right?
Nope. He keeps it vague, but he acknowledges surrounding himself with people who weren't truly serving him.
Or his agenda.
Right? People who weren't on the same page.
And then there are those bombshell claims that really blew up the internet.
The assassination attempts.
And a media cover-up.
It feeds directly into his narrative of being targeted unfairly.
A victim of the system.
Exactly.
These claims are obviously contested and lack concrete evidence.
Yeah, but they really resonate with his supporters who see him as constantly under attack.
It's important for us to present what Trump said, not necessarily endorse it.
Of course.
But to understand that perspective,
Absolutely. A significant portion of the population believes these things happened.
whether or not you agree with him, understanding Trump's viewpoint is crucial.
It's key to understanding the whole political landscape right now.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the 2020 election.
The elephant in the room.
He goes all in on his belief that it was rigged.
Full steam ahead.
He brings up alleged voter fraud, inconsistencies in the counting.
Claims of damaging information being suppressed.
It all adds fuel to the fire for his supporters who are convinced the election was stolen.
They believe it wholeheartedly.
But what about the lack of evidence?
Right. Many of his claims have been debunked or dismissed by the courts and election officials.
So where does that leave us?
With a deeply divided nation, unfortunately.
Where a lot of people believe the election was illegitimate.
And that's a dangerous situation for any democracy.
It undermines trust in the system, in the peaceful transfer of power.
It's a tough situation.
It really is.
So how do we even begin to bridge this divide?
That's the million-dollar question.
Part of it has to be promoting media literacy, encouraging critical thinking.
Having these open and honest conversations about the challenges facing our democracy.
Across the political spectrum.
We can't just stay in our echo chambers,
We need to listen to each other even when it's hard.
even when we disagree,
Exactly. We have to find a way to talk to each other.
and understand each other.
It's the only way forward.
All right, so we've got Trump the outsider, fighting the system, battling the media, convinced the election was stolen.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Stay tuned, folks, because we're just getting started.
We're going even deeper in part 2.
So grab your scuba gear and get ready for round 2.
It's going to be a wild ride. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Donald Trump's interview with Joe Rogan.
Okay, so we've got this image Of Trump as the ultimate outsider, right, battling the establishment.
And the media plays a huge role in that battle, according to him.
Oh, he definitely takes aim at the mainstream media.
He accuses them of being totally biased, dishonest.
More interested in pushing an agenda than reporting the facts.
100%. He even goes so far as to say that CBS deceptively edited his interview.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, he called it the biggest scandal in broadcast history. Strong words.
It's clear he feels completely misrepresented and unfairly attacked by the media.
They're out to get him, in his view,
So he sees himself as fighting this uphill battle.
against a powerful media machine that's determined to take him down.
And he sees the internet as this alternative.
A way to bypass those traditional gatekeepers.
Speak directly to the people.
Cut out the middleman.
Which, of course, is exactly what he did during his presidency.
With Twitter and all that.
He was constantly using social media to get his message out.
And attack his opponents.
He tapped into this deep distrust of the media that's out there.
And that distrust has only gotten worse in the age of social media.
With all the misinformation flying around.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to believe sometimes.
But it's funny because he's also a master of using the media.
Right.
He knows how to generate headlines.
He knows how to work the system.
He's a showman.
No doubt about it.
He understands how to grab the public's attention.
Whether it's good or bad press.
So it's this love-hate relationship with the media.
He rails against them, but he also uses them to his advantage.
A real push and pull.
Fascinating dynamic.
Now, let's talk about another bombshell from the interview.
Okay, this one's a doozy.
Trump claims he actually saved Hillary Clinton from going to jail.
You're kidding.
Nope. He brings up those lock her up chants from his rallies.
I remember those.
And he implies that he could have pursued criminal charges against her.
But he chose not to.
Out of the goodness of his heart, he says.
But wait, didn't he also criticize James Comey for not recommending charges?
He did. Which seems like a contradiction.
Right.
But it plays into this idea that he's the one making the tough decisions.
He's above the political fray.
He sees the bigger picture.
He's the decider.
The ultimate strategist.
Even if it means going against his own supporters.
He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
That's the image he's projecting.
Okay, so back to the 2020 election.
Can't escape it, can we?
Trump doubles down on his claims that it was stolen.
He goes into even more detail this time.
All the same allegations. Voter fraud, manipulated voting machines.
The whole 9 yards.
But again, many of these claims have been debunked.
Courts have dismissed them. Election officials have refuted them.
So what does that mean for us as a country?
We're left with this huge portion of the population who believes the election was illegitimate.
Which is incredibly damaging to our democracy.
It erodes trust in the whole system.
The peaceful transfer of power, everything we hold dear.
How do we fix that?
That's the question, isn't it?
It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of dialogue,
We need to find ways to come together.
and rebuild that trust.
But it's not all doom and gloom in this interview.
Oh, really?
There were some lighter moments, too.
Like what?
For example, Trump and Rogan actually bonded over their shared love of golf.
Now that's something I didn't expect.
Trump, the avid golfer, talks about how it clears his mind.
The mental and physical benefits.
And Rogan, who's more into MMA and stuff.
Seems genuinely interested in Trump's passion for the sport.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of all the political battles,
There's still room for human connection.
shared interests.
Just a nice change of pace.
And it's a testament to Rogan's interviewing style.
He creates this space where people feel comfortable opening up.
Showing different sides of themselves.
It's not just about the gotcha question.
It's about having a real conversation.
exploring a variety of topics.
Even unexpected ones like golf.
Yeah, who knew?
Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to mention one more thing.
Okay, what's that?
Trump talks about his plans to open up classified files if he gets back into office.
Wow, that's a big one.
He says he wants to do a cleansing.
Let the American people know it's been hidden from them,
This is sure to raise some eyebrows.
especially among those concerned about national security.
It's classic Trump, though, right?
Challenging the status quo,
Shaking things up.
even when it comes to sensitive information.
He's not afraid of anything.
And whether you agree with him or not, you have to admit,
He knows how to make a statement.
he keeps people talking, keeps them engaged.
Love him or hate him.
He's a force to be reckoned with.
And we're back, deep divers, for the final round of our Donald Trump deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, but now it's time for the really controversial stuff.
The red meat, the stuff that gets people fired up,
We're talking immigration, gender issues.
and even some out-of-this-world speculation.
Trump unfiltered and uncensored.
Buckle up.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Let's start with immigration, a topic that's always been at the heart of Trump's agenda.
He doesn't hold back here.
Nope. He doubles down on his hardline stance.
Securing the borders, cracking down on illegal immigration.
He talks about the dangers posed by gangs and drug trafficking.
Blames lax enforcement for what he sees as a total crisis.
He even suggests that migrants are being deliberately moved to swing states for political reasons.
Yeah, that's a serious accusation.
It's a conspiracy theory that's been widely disputed.
But it plays into that deep suspicion Trump has of the system.
He sees it as rigged against him and his supporters.
A constant battle against unseen forces.
And then there's his stance on gender issues, another area where he's sparked controversy.
He specifically questions the fairness of men competing in women's sports.
He argues that it puts female athletes at a disadvantage.
He even tells a story about a woman's manager comparing her leg size to a male athlete's,
highlighting the physical differences between men and women.
It's a hot-button issue for sure.
With strong opinions on both sides.
Some argue that transgender athletes should compete according to their gender identity,
while others say it creates an uneven playing field.
Trump definitely falls into the latter camp.
His comments reflect a broader conservative pushback against transgender rights.
It's a cultural flashpoint.
One of many that are dividing our society.
These deeply held beliefs often clash, making compromise difficult.
Trump also expresses concern about open borders.
He claims they lead to exploitation and human trafficking.
Paints a very bleak picture.
It's a stark contrast to the progressive view of immigration as a positive force.
Two very different perspectives.
Worlds apart.
And then just when you think it can't get any more unpredictable,
What happens?
they start talking about life on Mars.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, Trump speculates that Mars may have once supported life.
Maybe even an advanced civilization.
He points to evidence of water.
Suggests the possibility of ancient life forms.
It's a total curveball.
A departure from the usual political talk.
It shows a different side of Trump.
His willingness to entertain unconventional ideas?
He even delves into advanced military technology.
Like what?
Hints at secret weapons and capabilities that the public doesn't know about.
Now that's intriguing.
He mentions UFO sightings by military personnel.
Leaving us to wonder what's really out there.
The truth is out there.
Maybe.
So here we are at the end of our deep dive.
What a journey it's been.
We've heard it all from Donald Trump.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
The inspiring, the infuriating, the downright bizarre.
He's a complex figure.
A man of contradictions.
Someone who inspires both fierce loyalty and intense opposition.
A true enigma.
But one thing's for sure.
He's a master communicator.
He knows how to capture the public's attention.
Now hold it.
Whether you agree with him or not.
You can't deny his impact on our political landscape.
So what do you think, deep divers?
Has this changed your view of Donald Trump?
Has it given you new insights into the forces shaping our world?
We've presented the information, the controversies, the contradictions.
Now it's up to you to draw your own conclusions.
As always, keep questioning, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.
Until next time.
Stay curious.